Hi, my name is Naphibahun Lyngdoh. I am an archaeologist from Meghalaya, Northeast India. So today we will be talking about breathing life sustainably, an abandoned settlement to an open-air museum. Twah Longwar is a village perched above a ridge. It is an abandoned settlement located at Longwar village, East Khasi Hills district, Meghalaya in Northeast India. It is located at 25 degree 20 minutes and 20 seconds north and 91 degree 35 minutes and 16 degrees east. Twah Longwar was one of the earliest settlements in the area according to oral history. It was renowned for its trade as well. However, Twah Longwar experienced complete abandonment. People began leaving the place for unknown reasons. Personal interviews indicate that residents of this region began leaving as a result of the East India's Company construction of better roads which led residents to leave the area, which is still impassable to motor vehicles today. They also stated that plague was another factor in the population's departure. People left the area and relocated to other areas like Mawsynram, Sylhet, Mawsynram, and others. So the study of archaeology is not widely known or given much attention in the Khasi and Jainti hills of Meghalaya. Because of this, majority of the archaeological sites are still undiscovered, and even the exposed sites have been demolished for modernization. Therefore, salvage archaeology is required. Turning the abandoned Twah Longwar settlement into an open-air museum will not only prevent it from further deterioration, but will also aid in understanding the history of the people who once lived there and serve in conserving and preserving the area.
So this presentation describes a site-related continuing initiative that involves both physical and digital site rehabilitation. This project is unique as it will be the first archaeological open-air museum in the state. This will serve as a tourist attraction that will be open to the public so that they can observe, participate in, and experience the historical features and cultural elements. This will allow visitors to experience history firsthand through open-air museum and gain insight of the way of life of those who once lived in Twah Longwar. The methodology to achieve the aim of turning Twah Longwar abandoned settlement is based on the following series of sequential stages. Surface exploration of the site, which was carried out during the dry seasons. Data collection, which includes documentation of the site, collecting samples, collecting material remains from the site, collecting oral history from people. Survey, which includes GIS, LiDAR, and drone mapping of the site. Understanding the archaeological remnants of the site, archaeological excavation, and understanding the site better. Scientific methodology, which includes dating of the material finds in order to understand the chronology of the place. Reconstructing the houses physically and digitally after thorough study of the place, turn it into an open-air museum which will be open to the public. Understanding the site. So the Khasis do not have a written script until the 19th century. Therefore, oral narratives from the people of the village and archaeological finds from the site are the only way to comprehend the history of this abandoned settlement. Surface exploration have been carried out. Modern technology has greatly aided in comprehending the area before we carry out archaeological excavations. Architects are assisting with digital reconstruction of the structures, and the drone crew has contributed to the GIS and LiDAR scan to better the understanding of the site. When we look at the findings of Twah Longwar, we can see megaliths, menhirs and dolmens, remnants of an old market, a burial site, the structures of dwellings with small amount of iron slags. So now we will look at the UAV remote sensing survey for the archaeological site at Twah Longwar. The use of unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs for documenting and understanding the archaeological site. The creation of 3D digital models using high-resolution aerial data captured by UAV is a great way to comprehend the location. When compared to using the ground or surface documentation, using UAVs has created accurate topographical maps while also saving significant amount of time. Aerial photography could also be used to understand structures clearly. This makes it possible to interpret and understand the area better, particularly the structures that are masked by dense vegetation. A team from the Meghalaya Basin Development Authority, Government of Meghalaya, led by Sri Y. Kishore Kumar, who is a technical specialist in UAVs and RPAS, have assisted with the UAV survey. In order to obtain high resolution in centimeter level, the contour map, digital surface model map, digital terrain map, land use and land cover map, UAV orthomosaic map, aerial images and videos for Twah Longwar abandoned settlement, the following equipments and softwares were used. The drone, the Matrise 300 RTK with Mavic Pro 2 UAV, sensor RGB 45 megapixel and LiDAR. Software, we use the Pix 4D mapper, which transform ground or aerial images in digital maps and 3D models, DSM and DTM and ortho images. ArcGIS is used for analyzing and composing the final maps. Then we go to the maps which are being processed by using the aforementioned equipments. The contour map, the digital surface model map, digital terrain model map, land use, land cover map, UAV orthomosaic map, and the LiDAR images. Contour map. So by looking at the contour map, we can understand the terrain of Twah Longwar site. With the help of these contour lines in the contour map, we can see 3-dimension image from a 2-dimension image. The contour map helps in understanding the lengths, the slopes, and the width of the hills and valleys of Twah Longwar. Digital surface model map. By looking at the digital surface model map, we can see all the structures that are present on the surface of the site. The red line indicates the boundary of the site. The structures are also visible on the map. The digital surface model captures both natural and man-made structures. When we look at the digital terrain map, a digital terrain map is processed using full waveform laser scanning. This provides the 3-dimension elevation of Twah Longwar site but without the structures. The land use and land cover maps, it aids in understanding the human activities and natural components of the area. As we can see, the black lines drawn over the LULC map depict the structures at Twah Longwar. The UAV orthomosaic map, this is the complete representation of the hamlet of Twah Longwar site, and you can see it on the UAV orthomosaic map. Whereas the LiDAR helps to see hidden objects and structures which are covered in thick vegetation and other constructions. So in order to grasp the site, one must use a detailed representation provided by aerial survey. An archaeologist can also comprehend the landscape, the structures, and the information from this point on that are required to carry out the work in the next phase. In order to create a 3-dimensional model of the site and other structures, these photographs and videos can be utilized. Now we will look at the archaeological methodology to be used for understanding the site. Surface investigation, which has been carried out earlier, is done to comprehend and understand evidence of human activities, remnants of the settlement, and artifacts. Additionally, surface investigation is done to determine the potential area for excavation. Excavation is only possible during dry seasons and winters because this region receives the highest rainfall in the world. The material finds will be examined after the site has been cleared, surveyed, and excavated. To further understand the site's chronology, some of the materials will be sent for scientific dating. We will use the specific conservation techniques. The material found during the excavation will be treated, restored as necessary, and stored using standard storage procedures before it is displayed to the tourists. Now we will look at digital reconstruction. So after the site investigation, collection of data, geographical survey, excavation, scientific dating, and conservation methodology has been carried out, the data processed will be used for reconstructing the abandoned settlement. The abandoned settlement of Twah Longwar will be reconstructed digitally and physically. Digitally, the site will be reconstructed using several softwares like AutoCAD, Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Draw. After these digital reconstruction, the data can be made available online for anyone who wants to visit the site but are unable to do so. A three-dimension virtual tour can also be made for those who wishes to explore the site. The three-dimension virtual tour would feature a voice of a person telling the history of the site along with text, sound effects, moving photographs and other components. A three-dimensional film of the site showcasing the location, elevation and 360 picture of the abandoned settlement of Twah Longwar is created using the data process following the UAV remote sensing survey and after understanding the architectural structures of the site. Conceptual digital reconstruction of the houses have also been done and generated aerial pictures. Similarly, the entire site can be reconstructed in the same manner. For this picture, an architect, Brian Umwe, has assisted in creating the conceptual digital image. Physical reconstruction of the settlement. Now we will look at the physical reconstruction. A couple of houses will be restored and the site will be physically rebuilt. Sustainable resources that are locally accessible in the nearby villages of Twah Longwar will be used in the making of this open-air museum. A couple of the houses will be restored and this site will be physically rebuilt. The abandoned settlement will be rebuilt using the same resources that the former occupants of this location utilize.
So after all of this is completed, the open air museum will be made accessible to visitors who want to see how life was for the inhabitants of the Twah Longwar village before they totally abandoned the area. In contrast to the museum's four walls, this will provide them with a real-world experience. Additionally, this will play a significant role in safeguarding and maintaining the site's heritage for the benefit of the coming generations. Fewer people now get to see other buildings and experience village life, which dates back to early times, while modern constructions continue to be built. Thank you.